good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. And today we are going to be reviewing Destiny 2 The Final Shape. So I was contemplating making a video about The Final Shape, my kind of review of everything that's happened. I wanted to talk about the game because, I don't talk about every single expansion. I don't review every expansion, but I don't know, man. I thought about discussing The Final Shape because I took 2 weeks off of work to play this bad boy. And, I literally, the entire 2 weeks, I think, I wrapped up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that was that. And then I moved on and played The Final Shape. Played it for 2 weeks straight. Well, I say straight. I slept. But we're going to kind of go over everything here. Go over the expansion, what I liked about it, and yeah. So to kind of start things off, the campaign, man. Dude, for what? Before we get into the campaign, I want to say this is the best expansion Bungie has ever made. It tops anything I've played in the past. I think Rise of Iron was probably the most I was excited for an expansion because I wanted to see a Fallen expansion. Beyond Light I was also super excited for. Forsaken I think I was excited for, but also, bittersweet because of Cade. But I don't know, man. There's been so many expansions for Destiny. There's been Taken King. I'm gonna grab the don't mind me. I'm gonna grab that. There's been Taken King, Rise of Iron, I guess the launch of Destiny 2 if you want to count that, and the launch of Destiny 1, Forsaken, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and then of course the Final Shape. There's been so many expansions, and I thought, making a review off of this one had to happen because this was the best expansion of Destiny I've played. I don't think any of them could top this one. Now, let's start with the campaign because I feel like the campaign, everyone has a different experience with the campaign. What? Do I have something to turn in? Game's freaking out. Yeah, man, everyone has a different experience with the campaign. I know some people didn't like the pacing of the campaign. Me personally, dude, I thought this was their best storytelling, because you got to hear. I think the complaint with Lightfall is that the story was really bad, and there was just I don't know, there wasn't enough conversations that needed to be had. There was enough lore for people to grasp. Didn't answer a lot of questions. The Final Shape did storytelling perfectly. You would get insights into the conversation. You would get the radio messages. You would talk to your ghosts. I feel like Bungie was trying to fix what they did in Lightfall with the story. They were trying to make things better. We'll go to the landing. Or Lost City, because I need to turn in something there. But when it comes down to it, man, this was their best storytelling. Regardless of what you think of it, this was their best. They were trying to fix their mistakes from Lightfall, fix what they did, and make everything better. And that's what they did. I really liked the story. I think the Witness was kind of this unknown character for the longest time, for 2 years since the Witness got announced. And dude, I thought the Witness wasn't a perfect villain, but it was a cool villain. I liked seeing the villain evolve over time. I think that was really neat. But also I feel like the story was really good, dude. There was so much narrative. I think the narrative is probably the whole selling point for me. Is I just loved the story. I really did. There's so much lore to be covered too, and that's why I watch Bife, because he breaks down all the lore, and I like that. But yeah, the story was 10 out of 10. So just to kind of go over the campaign, and we'll go to. Well, I won't even go to Orbit. I'm already here. To kind of go over the campaign, I did Legendary Solo, which I know a lot of people did it with fire teams. You're a real professional if you do it solo. Took me a while to get the final fight done, which, by the way, that final fight in the campaign was cool. The fact that you just unmake the witness or attempt to is really neat. And dude, I just think like that whole fight, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, just the witness throwing glass shards at you, but survivability in that fight was very hard. But overall, the campaign was just really good, and obviously the post-campaign stuff, really neat, really solid. I do like the overthrow. I think it's a cool little public event activity. It's pretty neat. I don't mind it at all. It's pretty cool. The way that Pathfinder has done this whole progression system, kind of cool. I feel like it's really hard to figure out where you're getting pinnacles from. Like, really hard. It's really hard to know where you're getting pinnacles from now. Because I just look at this and I go, well, that's not where my pinnacle goes. Like, you look at the entire map, pinnacles are really hard to kind of figure out. So far I have it kind of figured out. There's only certain stuff that gives pinnacles now, and yeah, it's really weird, but the system is neat because it gives you XP, and you just kind of get to go whatever tree you want down to get yourself a reward. Now, other than that, the exotic missions are pretty cool. I do have everything done in this expansion as far as I know, minus like triumphs here and there, but I do have pretty much every exotic. I'm only missing, I think, because I only play a hunter, I'm only missing these, which proves Thread Spectre. I don't know how you get this. I've read up on it. Apparently you get it from Rahul. Rahul's your only source of getting this thing, because I haven't even seen it in engrams, which is really weird. And then, of course, the only other exotic I don't have is Euphony, which is the raid exotic. We'll get into the raid talk in a bit, but Kvasov is pretty good. I haven't really used it a ton. I'm using the legendary version more. Still Hunt, dude. This thing is a game changer. It literally changes the game. Like, you literally can... It's Celestial Nighthawk, and this plus your Goldie, you're doing the most damage in your fire team. Like, 100%. Red Death coming back. Haven't used it a ton. Don't really care about it. But it's cool to see it back in the game. It's neat. Microcosm, I just got this. I've heard this thing does insane damage. I've heard. Like, I don't know what the... Like, I don't know how much damage it does. I've heard, like, it goes into the millions, which... dude, I need to believe it to see it. I'm sure, like, Divinity and Microcosm is going to be a meta at some point. But I have yet to use it because I'm more using the Still Hunt build. But yeah, the post campaign is pretty cool. I like it a lot. I think it... Like, I think, like, with past expansions, there hasn't been a lot of, I'm going to go out into the world and do so much stuff, right? This expansion, I feel like, because of how big the map is, I've gotten to explore a lot more and do a lot more post-campaign stuff. Like, the Siths are okay. I don't really care for them. They're all right. They're not the best. To be honest, I only did them for, like, obviously Kvasov quest and other stuff, but it's not over the top crazy. It's not for me. Me personally, don't care for it, but yeah, I do like the whole destination as a whole. Just talking about, like, it's super long for a destination, like the longest, because then the raid's all the way over here. It's the longest destination for sure. But I do like it a lot. I think they did a phenomenal job with laying it out, and this is like, this right here is where you do that final part, like the final boss. Like, they mapped this out completely. Like, you could go, pretty sure you can go all the way over to this spot if you wanted to. Maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, they really just made this the biggest ever, because right here I think is the monolith. They just made this the biggest map ever. And dude, the destination itself, like, just looking out over it, this is probably the best map they've ever done in terms of design, and this shows like for the future, like the ghost over there, dude, like for what they could do for the future for this game is gonna be crazy. I can tell when their backs are against the wall, like they'll put out some of the greatest stuff. Like dude, and look at the sky, man. Like this expansion is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. It really is. Like it's such a good expansion, and it is my favorite, I think, out of everything they've done. One thing I will say, and we'll get into it in a second, I do want to talk about the raid, and we will. But other than that, the Dual Destiny quest for the class item, not my favorite. Like, it's a really cool exotic activity. I am going to just do overthrow chests just to get this thing, because I do kind of have a god roll on this thing, kind of ish. It's pretty cool. It's Star Eater and Inmost Light, but yeah, I did like the mission. It was kind of cool. There's a lot of like, I feel like there's a lot of like post-campaign stuff that's really neat. Like a ton of post-campaign stuff. Like it's silly, dude. It's crazy. Also, the addition of Xur in the tower. Didn't mention it, but it's a neat little thing. You know what? We'll go to the tower because I have a thing here we're going to pick up. We're going to kind of review this and multitask at the same time. But, yeah. And then, obviously, after the raid was beat, I guess we're not going to end on this, but talking about the Excision mission. One of the best missions they have ever put in the game. I'll say that, man. Like, dude, literally that mission, that's a 12-man activity, which they've never... Like, 12-man activities are not new for Bungie. They've done it in PvP. They can do it in PvE. Like, that wasn't surprising to me. But what was surprising is how good the activity was. Like, the fact that you kind of get to experience the Witness boss fight in the mission if you didn't do the raid. Because obviously, dude, the raid is so difficult, and it's one of my negatives of this expansion is the raid. But because the raid is so difficult, not everyone is going to do the raid. So literally, they give people a chance to do a part of the raid in Excision. You literally get to defeat the Witness there. The ending of the whole campaign, like, which is Excision, the fact that your ghost dies. By the way, spoilers here. Obviously, it's a review, so I'm talking about everything. It's not spoiler free.
Hey, how's the
fact
going?
that your ghost dies and Cayde brings it back to life was so bittersweet. I was like, you just came back, man. You know, I just kind of felt like I was like a little sad, dude. It was a little sad. I didn't cry, but I could have. Oh, but I could have. I could have indeed.
See you soon.
But dude, that mission was so good. And another thing I didn't talk about at all, Prismatic. I really like Prismatic. I actually run, this is my build that I run if anyone wants to mimic it, but something crazy, Withering Blade, Swarm Grenade, Ascension, Stylus Executioner. I run, this is probably the most fun Prismatic build for me. It's just, it's neat to do. I do swap to Goldie if I need to use Celestial for like boss encounters or the raid or whatever, but yeah, man, Prismatic is probably the coolest thing about the expansion. I was almost expecting them to do like another Darkness subclass, which would have been like, looking at it now, I don't think it would have made sense, but I'm hoping we are getting another Darkness subclass in the future, because when you swap to, I mean, there might not be another Darkness subclass. I don't know. It would be nice to see 6 in total. So like you would see like, I don't know. I think it would be cool to see like a red subclass, like to do with Rage. I think that's like speculation, but I think it would be neat to see. We'll see if that even happens, but yeah, man, to kind of finalize this and also give a rating is the raid. So the raid is actually the thing I hate about the expansion. Obviously, like you can see my emblem. I've done Root of Nightmares on contest. I completed it day one. Wasn't world's first, but I did complete it day one. I remember, like, we had to leave because we got planets done, then we were stuck on Nezarec, and then I had to swap to another group just to get it done. But yeah, I did Root of Nightmares contest mode, and Root of Nightmares is my favorite Destiny raid out of all of them. Just because I was able to get it done on contest, and I just like the weapons, and I like the armor's okay. It's not the greatest. I can make a really ugly armor set, though. But, no, the raid exotic's cool, the weapons are cool. Everything about the raid is awesome, and I do like it a lot. Especially Nezarec, too. That boss is sick, but even though I know a lot of people don't like planets is actually pretty simple to understand. But yeah, so I like a lot of raids, and I think, like, I used to hate Vow, now I hate Salvation's Edge. You know, that's how I feel. Because with Vow, the symbols, man, those stupid symbols, that's why I don't do that raid anymore, because of the symbols. I don't like memorizing a bunch of symbols. It gets annoying. Like, really, really annoying to memorize symbols. It's just, it was a pain. And then Salvation's Edge, like, I'll explain the raid for those who haven't done it, but if you have done it, you know. Dude, you see this raid right here? The first encounter, obviously on contest, that's where I was stuck. I did the first encounter, like, day after finishing it, like, getting it done. Encounter 1 was easy. Like, I understood it completely. Encounter 2, a little bit of a curveball, but not that hard. Figured it out, and now I know how to do it properly. Encounter 3 is literally the same as the last 2 encounters. Like, it's not all that difficult. Also, Encounter 2, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's final shape Taniks, you know? But you get to that third encounter, and third encounter's fine. The fourth encounter, I don't know what Bungie employee was working overtime doing crunch, but they literally made that encounter and was like, yeah, you're gonna need to go to college for this one. See, I know how to do the fourth encounter now. That fourth encounter was the bane of my existence when I was learning it. I was like, shapes? I'm sorry? I got a D in geometry in high school, man. You think I care about shapes? Like, the encounter was so frustrating. It literally ruined the raid experience. If that encounter wasn't in there, raid would have been fine. But that encounter ruined the raid for me. Like, alone. Because people didn't, like, I kept trying to figure it out, learn it. And no one seemed to know what they were doing. And I got it down to a science when I just got it ingrained in my skull for doing 7 hours. It was a frustrating experience, man. I did not like it at all. It was more frustrating than Vow. It was more frustrating than Planets. Even Planets wasn't that frustrating, but it was something else, man. It was quite the experience, quite the tale. Yeah, Verity's not a fun encounter at all. It just, I don't know why Bungie thought they needed to do, I mean, 5 encounters fine, you know. I think Taken King has 5 encounters, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, they have 5 encounters, I'm pretty sure. 5 encounters aren't new, but, like, you didn't have to make the raid that difficult. Like, dude, it literally, whenever I do that encounter, no one knows what they're doing. It's quite literally the worst. So, yeah, I mean, the final encounter, like, it's literally Excision for the most part, but obviously with the raid mechanics, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, the final fight's a lot of fun. At this point, I'm just going for the exotic, and I might go for some other stuff, but nothing really interests me from that raid. The armor looks like garbage. The weapons are okay, but they're not something I'm chasing. And the exotic, I just want it, because I don't even know if it's going to do damage, but I just want the exotic. But, yeah. So to kind of give it a rating for this whole expansion, it's definitely going to be like a 9 out of 10. It would have been perfect if the raid I loved, but I didn't, because my experience was just so rough, and it was like, I don't know why they had to make that encounter so difficult, or even make the encounter in the first place. Like, I'm sure there was a reason, because, you know, shapes and shapes get brought up. It's like, oh, we got to do a shape encounter. No, you don't. You don't have to. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that the raid made me dislike the expansion a little bit, just a little, because the expansion, like obviously Lightfall, expansion was with the story and all that, but then you look at the raid and like, I like the raid. Raid is good. It's like, Final Shade did the exact opposite, flipped it on its head for me. But yeah, definitely 9 out of 10, dude. Give Final Shape a whirl. It definitely is the ultimate expansion for Destiny. I would say it's definitely Bungie's best work. So hopefully they keep doing what they do best. The episode echoes so far, it's okay. The weapons are really cool. At least 3 of them for me so far. I'm picking up and trying to get red borders for, but yeah, the episodes are going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the future of Destiny, because I've been playing this for 10 years, man. I'm going to keep playing it for another 10. So yeah, that's going to be a video for today, but thank you guys for watching. If you did, as always, I appreciate it a ton. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.